Welcome to Unveiling the Truth,
where we unveil the truth about the Catholic Church teachings one fact at a time.
I'm Nefer.
And I'm Nelly, and in this next Fun Fact Friday videos, we're going to be discussing demons and wandering souls.
Ooh,
Just like little fun facts about them. Like, we can go into a whole deep video about like demons, because there's a lot of theological stuff about them. Yeah, but we're just going to name some fun facts about them. So go ahead. So first explain what a wandering soul is, because I'm sure people are like, wandering soul, is that like a person who never settles down or something? Like, so go ahead, explain.
Well, yes, but actually no.
Well, you're like, yes, but theologically.
Theologically speaking. I'm like, theologically speaking. Yeah, so a wandering soul, so obviously, you know, in the Catholic Church, we believe that a person who is condemned, has condemned themselves because they died in mortal sin, is going to go to hell. A person who dies in the state of grace is going to go straight to heaven. And a person who still has some remnants of sin in their soul, but they're like good to go to heaven, they're going to go to purgatory for purification. However, and the church doesn't talk about this a lot, but there are souls that if in their lifetime, if they've opened up certain doors to evil, they are basically they're encadenados. They're encadenados. They're chained down and they're tied to like evil influences. And so sometimes through many different circumstances that happen, it's not that a spirit will go kill you. It's that because a spirit has control over you, you unconsciously make decisions that it's like you.
So like
a
zombie. So you're like a zombie. You're not
something
even
like that. It's like it's not your fault, but things will happen to, like, you know, stress or anxiety. If it gets to like a different level, you might end up if someone does si alguien te hace un mal, if someone does something bad to you, they, like, you know, witchcraft or something, they can tie you down, and sometimes you can die before your time. And if you die before your time, that soul is considered wandering because it's not time for them to go up to judgment, so they don't know if they're going to go to heaven or hell or purgatory. And so when people say that they have paranormal, supernatural experiences, people are like, "Oh no, that's not true." It's like, no, it is. Yeah. There's a lot of
this stuff
spiritual
exists.
basis
like that's for really deep to think about, but it exists.
And so sometimes people are like, "Oh, you know, such and such soul visited me, and I felt their presence, and it was so peaceful." Be careful with that, because a lot of times those could be wandering souls that are tied down by evil influences. Yeah. Because why would God want you wandering around the earth with nowhere to go? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Think about it.
Yeah. You know? So another thing to talk about is that you have complete and total power over the dead. Like just like how priests can perform exorcisms, especially with the name of Mary. Demons hate the name of Mary. Yeah. You mention Mary, they will flee. And if you like tell them in the name of God or in the name of Mary or in the name of Jesus, speak the truth, they speak the truth and they will flee.
And so that has a lot of power if you're baptized. Yeah. Yeah, so being baptized.
Yeah, being baptized is really important. So let's start by saying the only time you get possessed by something is if you open up the door. Demons will never just come into you unless you open up the door through a Ouija board, through the things you watch,
witchcraft,
through the things you say. People have been possessed from saying the Lord's name in vain too much. So it's that attachment to evil, like you said. But, so you think, a lot of people get possessed, a lot of people think that ghosts possess you, and that's not true. They're all demons. So something else to distinguish is that if you, like, think you're being haunted by a demon, and if you do see figures, which is, like, rare, like you said, it could be a holy soul in purgatory trying to get you to pray for them. And a good way to tell this is if there's, like, this figure that's been bothering you. So first of all, a holy soul in purgatory will never hurt you.
Yeah. Ever. No, they want you to pray. They don't want to harm you in any way. They just want prayers.
Yeah, so they'll get your attention by, so if, like, something falls off the wall or something, always just instantly be like, if that's a soul in purgatory, I'll pray for them. But a really good way to tell if it's a demon or a holy soul in purgatory is if you get holy water and throw it on them. Yeah. If you throw holy water on them and they burn and sizzle and disappear, and you have to say, like, in the name of Jesus or something, and they disappear, that's obviously a demon. And obviously a demon will, like, try to harm you and haunt you because you did something wrong to open them in. But if it's a holy soul in purgatory, the holy water won't do anything to them. They'll just stay there. And that's how you know that's a holy soul. And they'll just try to, like, get your attention to pray for them because they don't have people praying for them. Yeah. And a lot of times they'll leave after you pray for them or grant their wish. Yeah, and just a couple of specific, just clarifications when you said that because you did something wrong, that a soul will, like a wandering soul or a demon will harm you. Sometimes it's not what you did.
Sometimes it's just the fact that in your family, you, like, if your grandma or something did witchcraft,
Yeah.
then that kind of transfers over to you. Even if you did nothing wrong, that can tie you down as well, because sometimes they'll go to the brujos and stuff, and they'll be like, oh, you know, they consecrate their family generations.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you didn't do anything wrong with that, and you're like, you know, I go to church, I pray, and you're fine. But because of what your ancestors may have done, and they may have consecrated you without knowing it, that's how that stuff can come in as well.
And actually, a friend of mine and I were talking about this the other day. There's something called family exorcism. And it's where you literally, it's this prayer, and you get a priest, and it blesses your like entire family and exercises your family, your generations. And that's just a nice way to keep your family like in line with the church. Because like you said, you could be like have your house enthroned to like the Sacred Heart of Jesus and stuff, and demons could still haunt you. But so there always has to be that portal open to them, like you said, from your grandma, or you do it. So that's why you stay away from Ouija boards. You can get possessed from like saying the Lord's name in vain. So it's that attachment to sin and that openness to the demons that let them in. So don't play with this stuff. This stuff is serious.
Yeah, and then when you said the whole thing about the holy water thing, I remember this story about this one time there was this priest who was praying in a church, and this image of Our Lady showed up to him, but he didn't believe it was her, because he's like, I am not worthy of like having Our Lady come to me. And so he spat at the image, and it disappeared. Because it wasn't from God. It was like an evil spirit.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you can be holy and get attacked by demons. Like you said, it's not anything bad. You can be, like Padre Pio, he was thrown around by the devil himself, and even the crucifix didn't save him from that. Like, sometimes you can just be so holy that the demons just want to throw you off track. They're like, oh my gosh. So they'll either attack you.
Saint Faustina would also get psychologically tortured.
Yeah, I was going to say, they'll either attack you physically or mentally. And if that happens to you, good job. You're doing your job. You're doing your job, but
be careful. But you know.
And there was this other cool story too. Now that we talk about getting physically attacked, is Saint Martin de Porres. He's one of my favorite saints. He was an African friar. So I thought that it was just like, you know, like
African. He was
or not African. Thank you.
Peruvian.
So he was a friar, and I always thought that he was just like this holy monk. But one day the devil confronted him, and he took off his friar belt and beat him. Beat him away with the belt.
So
is that amazing or what? But yeah, holy objects really help. So it's really good to always pray for the Holy Souls in Purgatory, and always determine whether it's a demon. And if you think that you're getting haunted by a demon or haunted by a Holy Soul in Purgatory, go talk to your priest. Because it's important. Either ends of the spectrum, it's important.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't know what could be going on there.
And there have been so many saints who have battled Satan, so we should actually make a video on that. Like, the saints who have battled with Satan, because it's insane how many saints battle Satan. Like, I can't remember who it was, but she would get, like, her hair get pulled by the devil.
Saint Teresa.
Oh, I thought it was Saint Catherine.
I think Saint Teresa of Avila too.
Oh, was it? Okay. He's just like drag her around by her.
Sure.
I'm like, the devil hates holy people. So if you're getting possessed if you're getting haunted by like a demon, you're either doing something really good or really bad. So that's why I said to like go to your priest. So something else that is pretty cool is that, you know how they say that, you know, animals or dogs are man's best friend? Well, in this case, they are, because just like they can sense something holy, like animals can sense the consecrated Eucharist. Like they bow down to it and stuff like that. Like they can sense that holy presence. Well, they can also sense the evil presence. So if you like see a dog barking at a wall or like not wanting to go somewhere, that's because they can sense that evil presence. And like you were saying about the ambulance cars?
Oh yeah, like how they say that whenever an ambulance passes by and then dogs start howling, they say that it's because the person in the ambulance is about to die, and so it's like they can sense that the spirit is about to leave the body. Yeah. And even I told you earlier too that sometimes we'll be doing prayer here and our dogs would just start howling.
Yeah, exactly.
And babies too, right?
So babies have that innocence and purity to them, especially after they've been baptized. So they can also sense the evil and the good in things. So, you know how they have like imaginary friends and like
be careful with that.
Yeah, be super careful with that. So if like babies, if they like randomly start crying, or if they're like looking in a direction or getting scared and not wanting to go somewhere, that's because they can sense the evil. They'll either be super happy because they like sense a saint or a holy soul, or they'll be like super like off and like, you know, like whiny. It's because they can sense them. So that's why like sometimes you'll see like kids waving at nothing or like talking nothing, you know, imaginary friends. Or like my brother told me one time that there's this one baby who would like turn his head and like be kissed by something. So the babies can see this stuff because they're so pure and innocent, and so they can see the demons or the saints or whatever.
Yeah, so that's the thing with imaginary friends, why I say like parents watching or future parents or people our age who are thinking about getting married and having children, be careful with imaginary friends. I'm sure we've all like had them, but the thing is, most kids, they'll make it up because they're just bored and they just want to play. But some kids can actually see things, and if they see people up until the age of, there's this some priests have said that up until the age of 3, because children are so innocent, they can actually like talk to Mary, they can talk to angels and things like that. But if they're saying that it's not like if they don't say that it's like Mary or an angel or something, if they say it's just like a random person and they can actually see them, that's an evil spirit, and you got to be very, very careful with your child.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, it's crazy how you said, it's like dogs and babies can see this stuff, like, why can't we?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I think because it's that thing that Socrates says where he's like, the more I learn, the less I know.
Yeah.
Because we're filled with so much stuff in our brains that we just know
we don't
less.
even think about it.
And animals are so innocent that they recognize their creator even more than we do, and it's the same thing with babies, because they're so innocent.
Fun fact, even Satan worshippers can tell the difference between a consecrated host.
Consecrated
host and
especially more so.
It's crazy. So yeah, if you hear like babies, because this happened with my mom, she was saying goodnight to my brother and he said, can you like make the eyes go away? And she's like, what? And he said that there are red eyes in the closet. So so she got the house blessed. So if that ever happens with your kid, talk to your priest, get the house blessed, make sure that there's no like history with that house.
Oh, definitely. Do an exorcism on the house. There's blessings that people can do to enthrone their house, the Sacred Heart of Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like that, and get your kid to a good priest. You never know. Poor child. We don't want them growing up with spiritual trauma.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you guys so much for watching. These are just little fun facts about demons, possession, holy souls, and wandering souls.
Yep. And so make sure to check out our link tree for more content, and subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. And follow us on Instagram at unveiling_the_truth_.
Yep, we're praying for you. Keep that fire burning. Don't get haunted. Bye.
Bye.